and world number 1 and world champion Michael Smith. But their attention turns now to the North American Darts Championship. And we've said today the winners will get a spot in the Grand Slam. If Jim Long wins it, gets a spot in the World Championship as well. That doesn't qualify for Jeff. But for Jim Long, this is a big afternoon. It could be a long day for him, excuse the pun. He takes on Michael Van Gerwen later, but he's got to take on a great friend, but a rival. And someone has got the better of him quite recently. They competed in a competition not so long ago, and Jeff Smith won comfortably. And Jim Long will be well aware of that. And John Part, when you've been on a stage with a player that's beat you and beat you handsomely quite recently, despite that great victory for Jim Long last night, it will play on his mind in what is probably the standout tie of the quarterfinal this afternoon.
Well, yeah, and, you know, he's already got one Smith defeated. He's got another now served up in Jeff. And Jeff did beat him, as you say, at the cross-border challenge in the final. But here's the difference. That was at the end of a very long day, and this is at the beginning of what's going to be a long day for both of them. Because the loser of this is playing tonight. It's going to be a long, competitive day. They're going to have to maintain their focus. But they know, in order to win this, they need their full game here in this match. I mean, not a friendly draw in the least, the way things developed last night.
No, certainly not. What impressed me most with the pair of them, how they held themselves together in those matches last night. Both their opponents not at their best, but that's when you can just get a bit ahead of yourself, start thinking about the finishing line, but neither of them did that. And completed 2 fine upsets, and like I said, resume their campaigns this evening in the US Darts Masters. Michael Van Gerwen for Jim Long. For Jeff Smith, he takes on Nathan Aspinall. It's a big afternoon, particularly for Jeff Smith. He can't qualify for the World Championship even if he wins, but a spot on the Grand Slam is massive.
60.
Well, you always want to win. Any win will build towards something else, one way or the other, and you know, it becomes a habit, really. And this is something I've identified with Jeff, and especially in this area, he seems to thrive. He's been winning tournaments around the New York area that the CDC have run, that the PDC have run. Really seems to enjoy the atmosphere down here.
For Jeff Smith, it hasn't gone to plan on the PDC. Just about kept his tour card, and credit to him the back end of the year. He qualified for the World Championship, and that prize money, got for the qualifying, the PDPA qualifier to win 4 matches. He eventually lost to Mike the Decker, and marginally kept hold of his tour card, and it just hasn't happened for him this year. Just a couple of wins on tour, so he's looking to kickstart his season with some good runs here. So already had a good result last night.
437. Jimmy Rick 156.
That was a little strange, but he does leave a double.
He's got to go with that double. He may split it. Can be tricky if Jeff goes straight for it and that first dart's below the double 7.
Jeff Rick 14.
It doesn't get awkward. It looks like he's going straight for it. Aggressive. And a breaker throw for Jeff Smith.
Jeff to throw first.
That'll settle him down.
Game.
And, you know, there's no worse feeling if you're Jim Long, you see your opponent hit a double, and then he has the throw and opens 180. Two bad things have happened since you've been at the hockey.
Yeah, and he'll recognise, well, that Jeff started well here. Comfortably broke in 16 darts, that opening leg. Jeff Smith has won this event before, back in 2018.
412.
John Norman Jr. in the final. He was the runner-up the following year. He lost out to David Cameron last year in the first round. Disappointment for Jeff. Be itching to get his hands back on this title.
Well, you know, you kind of have to feel Jeff has kind of been eclipsed by Matt on the tour, and the successes, and you know, Jeff's a proud dart player, and he's represented his country very well over the years. It's not about going away anywhere. He wants to put himself back at the forefront. And he might earn an opportunity to face his rival and teammate.
Yeah, well, he's started well.
60.
Wins for both the seeds so far. The number 1 seed, Matt Campbell. We've just seen Alex Spellman, the number 4 seed, win. And the number 2 seed is currently taking early charge of this quarter-final. This is impressive from Jeff Smith. Averaging 100 and gets himself a bit of daylight.
Jim waking up, answering a bit here. You don't really have a lot of time to get your game together if your opponent's really blitzing you. You're kind of forced into answering.
It's always difficult at this level to recover from a couple of breaks of throw in a race to 6, and Jim Long will be well aware how vital it is that he holds throw here just to give himself a foothold
57.
in this quarter-final.
I like that 180 sign. Hey.
60.
It's appropriate for these two. I don't know if they'll be looking out too much into the crowd, but there are a lot of Canadians supporting here.
100.
There they are. It's a win-win for them Canadian fans. We've already got one Canadian, Matt Campbell, in the semi-finals. One more will be joining them here. It's looking like, in these early exchanges, Jeff Smith, but it's early days.
Well, certainly is. And
140.
Jim, really good leg here after 12 on 64, and I think anybody be happy with that with the throw.
100. Jimmy requires 64.
This gives Jeff an outside chance. If Long can't get rid of the 64, good first start. So 2 to get on the ball. Brilliant from Jim Long. An impressive response to the opening 2 legs from Jeff Smith. Great start to this third quarter-final. Winner will face Jules Van Dongen or Jake McMillan. That's our final quarter-final. That follows after the conclusion of this matchup.
Well, the Long camp haven't given up out there, nor should they. Every match today so far has been very entertaining and highly competitive, and that's what we want. We don't like one-sided matches in the booth.
Certainly not. Didn't expect this one to be competitive, particularly. I wonder who he's cheering on. Yeah, after they'd be buoyed by their performances last night. They've started well, the pair of them.
Well, yeah. And Mark, if you think the crowd are yelling for these guys now, just wait till later tonight. It's going to be quite a cacophony for the Canadians when they get on the stage tonight.
One of these can head into those quarterfinals as a North American champion. They'll be relishing the challenge because they'll have ticked the box. This is what they're here for. Yes, to be successful in the US Darts Masters, but this, for them, really unlocks some doors, particularly for Jim Long, who can get a spot at Ali Pali. Jeff Smith, as we mentioned, can, along with Matt Campbell. They're the only 2 in the field that can't qualify for the World Championships by winning this, because they've been on the tour card for a couple of years now. Had a tour card for a couple of years, should say.
59. Jimmy Rigois, 107.
So tops to get 2-2. Oh, what a big finish. And, you know, in my mind, Jeff Smith loves 96 and kind of felt like maybe he would take it. And that was sort of a must-hit for Jim. And he got it. He would have been expecting Jeff to finish at 96. So, really impressive stuff from Jim Long.
After a bright start from Jeff Smith, taking the opening 2 legs. 29 darts later, and 2 from 2 in a doubles. Jim Long has levelled this quarter-final. Both averages in the mid-90s. It's a high-quality affair so far.
No, 87.
Jeff Smith will be heading to the World Cup alongside Matt Campbell, quarter-finalists in the past. They've lost in the first round the last couple of years, but different format now, round robin in the opening round, 12 groups of 3, all pairs throughout. And Jeff Smith and Matt Campbell will be a serious threat there, you feel.
96.
Yeah, I think that North Americans have a lot more familiarity playing pairs, and the reality is at this stage of the game, they really don't play a lot of pairs, but they both have in their past. So, but at this point, what they're doing, they probably rarely are playing pairs themselves, but they're it's something where they're comfortable to do it.
82.
Yeah, I agree. They'll be one of a handful of teams to watch. Format 40 nations. Must be a fantastic event over in Frankfurt in a couple of weeks.
Deputy 164.
We played pairs against each other at the World Cup. I mean,
we did a couple of times. You forget that we beat you as well.
I always forget when I lose.
Yeah. Funny that, John.
Yeah.
Here's that, missed a double for Jim Long. Outside chance for Smith to move in front again.
Jimmy required 25.
So this, a chance he might not have expected to get to hold his throw. On double 4 now.
17.
Oh, it's back to the scenario of a player punishing a player, and this is something that Jeff was familiar with from last night.
Move in front again. Big Dart
just
goes inside.
Jimmy
Errors in this fifth leg. It could be a key leg. Long's missed, then Jeff's missed. Jim Long's darts.
And also, this is for 3 legs on the trot. Full momentum.
Fifth leg, Jim Long. Second leg is Jeff to throw first.
Jeff kind of looking a little bit perplexed as to what's gone on. He started so very well, was up 2-0. Now he finds himself a leg down.
Went straight at double 7 in the opening leg, but elected to split double 19. They're right next to each other, John, and maybe Jeff should have just attacked. Elected to leave double 16. I suppose below double 7 there's not a lot of doubles you can feel really comfortable on to split. That's probably the argument for Jeff.
I think he just likes being unpredictable. He likes giving us a hard time up here.
Said at 2-0 it was key that Jim Long held throw. Same scenario for Jeff Smith here now, because he's against the darts. If he drops throw here, he has to find 2 breaks to turn this quarter-final around.
57.
Let's go, Jeff!
140.
Himself a decent cushion here now, though, Jeff. Has to fill it up, Jim, if you want to leave a finish.
Yeah, but Jeff, he already had the break he needed. He had that advantage back, but now it's gone. So just holding his throw isn't going to be enough for Jeff from here out. Although it's a good start. Back in.
92.
Just by being able to pull away in the leg, having the luxury of not using the 14 for ball on that previous shot. Jim Long has just got a hit and hope. Still in his hands.
Jeff required 32.
Got the darts. It's never as plain sailing as just holding your throw, but that's what he's just got to tell himself. As Jeff Smith finds the double 16 that he couldn't pin in the previous leg.
Jim to throw
and we're
first.
level again.
Yeah, and more importantly for Jeff, he ends the run of Jim's 3 on the trot, and now we can kind of focus on attacking that throw. He needs to get that break, but he can do a little more in earnest with some confidence now again.
Vastly experienced, the two players, but Jim Long has played in a World Cup, played the World Championship as well in 2018 to beat Mickey Mantle. Marginally lost out to Benito van der Pas. That's that big win, as we said earlier on. It's Michael Smith last night as he finds his first match of this quarter-final. And this is all Jim's got to do. Solid on his own throw will get him to that semi-final.
Well, and a very weak open from Jeff Smith with the 45 was punished by the 180, in fact. He's still going.
Yeah, some serious breathing space incoming for Jim Long. 6, possibly 9 at the 1-2-1. Jeff can't leave a finish, even with a 180, which he's not going to get. Long is edging closer to the semi-finals.
Yeah, it's hard not to think Long at this point, getting this match, and
81.
Correctly went for the treble. 15 on that second dart.
Yeah, like Jeff in the previous leg, just being able to tee up the shot. Big cushion for Jim Long, and this for 4-3. Pretty efficient, 3 from 6 on the doubles. And he uses the guide well and leads again. Jim Long 2 legs away from the semi-finals.
Just sensing some desperation in the throw of Jeff Smith now. Just all around that treble, but not in. And I'm sure you can relate to that as well, Mark, as me. That's just what happens. You get a little tight. You're just trying to force it a little too much. Your opponent's doing that. Meanwhile, you can't get one of your 3 in, despite being right there.
Jim Long is just looking the more likely. And he could. So he had a really serious cushion in terms of the scoring in the previous level. In the scoreline, there could be a cushion coming in. Brilliant from Jim Long. You could have got another 3, maybe 6 darts in that treble 20. And it's 6 into the perfect leg.
Yeah, we need to get this going. Come on, Jim Long.
135. Jimmy got 141.
I like the reaction if this goes in. I like the reaction from Jim, though. It's a let's get on with it. He's here to win a darts match and win a darts tournament. Brilliant from Jim Long.
Absolutely. Like, no, not frustrated in the least. That one. It's another 2 trebles. 8 treble 20s in the leg and a single 1.
Jimmy required 20.
And now a chance at a 10-dart leg.
Dave's on the 8 leg.
Incredible from Jim Long. A 10-dart leg that now gives himself a series of cushions, sportingly acknowledged by his fellow countryman Jeff Smith. But Jim Long now will have 2 opportunities if needed to throw for the match. Look at them last 2 legs. That's what's giving the advantage. It took his average up to around 95 as well.
Well, and also look at legs 3 and 4. He was down 2-0, and he produced a 14-dart leg and a 15-dart leg, both 100 average stuff to get back in the match. Really exceptional effort because he was looking under duress early going.
Smith's played well, but Long with the timing.
85.
Looking to set up a semi-final with either Jules Van Dongen or Jake McMillan. Are we on the brink of losing our first seed? Campbell and Spellman not safely through, but booked their places in the semi-finals.
58.
Well, Jeff now doing what he needs to do here. Let's not hand the match to Jim Long too quickly, because if he can get the break, Jeff can hold his throw, then all of a sudden we're in a tie-break leg.
This is good from Smith. Needs another one, Jim. Gets another one.
Winning darts matches on big stages isn't easy.
Give me 158.
What a way to complete victory this would be. Oh, it's on.
Yeah, and after all those 180s, he was feeling like he could get 2 in the treble there. It wasn't to be, though, but this is certainly a must hit for Jeff Smith. You can't let Jim Long come back for the match. It's double 18. And real class under pressure from Jeff Smith. The silencer keeps his hopes alive, and we have a match still going here.
Jeff Smith went to his comfort blanket, the double 18. It's his favourite section of the board, and there was serious pressure on that. Long was waiting on a single to double combination for victory, but we go on, we're back on throw. Jeff Smith will still have to find another breaker throw in the meantime, holding his throw, but he's scrapping away.
Yeah, a decent enough ton. You're a little worried because Jim's hit so many 2 treble turns and even 3 treble turns lately. But he didn't there, only 42. And Jeff's pressing so hard to try and widen the gap of advantage in the leg. Well, they look comfortable watching, enjoying this match.
Well, these two on the stage will certainly not feel comfortable.
58.
They'll be feeling the nerves as we get the back end of this quarter-final.
Well, we had one major comeback in this match already from Jim Long to get back in, and an even bigger comeback attempt here, I feel, from Jeff Smith. If he somehow escapes this match, it will be magnificent for him.
After that 10-dart leg for Jim Long to lead 5-3. You felt items on the wall for Jeff Smith. Battling away, looking to reignite his 2023.
Yeah, and he just chipped away there to leave a finish. Worked it. He's really working hard, Jeff Smith, to force a final leg.
Jeff, you're going to go 160.
Got time. A couple of visits. Might not need a couple of visits.
Well, yeah, I mean, the ideal would be the huge momentum if you take the 160 out into that last leg. But he'll be happy nonetheless. As you said, it was essentially a setup visit.
You get a great deal from Jim Long, but believe me, he'll be feeling it now. When you see a lead disappear, especially a match-winning lead, when you're one leg away. Smith's got to convert this double 10. That could be costly, John. He could return.
Yes.
Like he will return. Then there's a decision to be made, because double 5 can get tricky.
But, if he can get the first start in here, Jim, he'll think he can get this. There's a lot of tension on that stage now. There's been a lot of emotion both ways.
24. Jeff, you require 10.
Right at it. So he's going to have to get that single, the pesky single, yes. So that's to save it, double 2.
8.
And it's still awkward. The setup play, not great from Jim Long. But he's already taken out a 107. He took a 115 out at a key time in the match against Michael Smith last night. This one, for a spot in the semi-finals, can still do it.
Yeah, he needed a treble 19 for Bull.
40.
But Jeff,
Jeff, you require 2.
You're tempted to go right at it here, but you really got to play it safe a little, I think. Yes, that's what he did. That's kind of now he can feel the weight of the shot better. But it got away from him. It's really nervy, but he gets it. Wow! Tremendous again from Jeff Smith. Last chance saloon. He forces the last leg.
And then first with that, so really safe from Jeff Smith. That is a relief and good to see from both players, but it now comes down to just one leg. Jim Long trailed 2-0. He then led 5-3. We go to our first deciding leg of this afternoon's quarterfinals, and already a slight opening for Jeff Smith.
they had a New York Jets-like chant going in the audience there. J-E-F-F, Jeff, Jeff, Jeff.
41.
Put a lot of thought into that, haven't they? Smith.
Well, you got to have the right chant for the right locale.
Well, Jeff Smith is finding the right darts here. And Jim Long, 6 darts and still not out the 400s. He's out now.
425.
Still a pretty good visit. Brings him back in range. Gives Jeff something to think about.
Credit to Jeff Smith, who's said he won the cross-border challenge, beating Jim Long, but it's been a year of a bit of turbulence on the PDC tour. Just showing his battling qualities here, and he's got 6 darts for a place in the semi-finals, minimum.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think he beat Jim Long, the real Jim Long. But now he's just setting it up.
98.
But I think this he has. If he wins this one, he has beaten the real Jim Long. What a performance from each of these players.
It's been a brilliant encounter, played in great spirit, and Jim Long just unravelled slightly from leading 5. That 10-dart leg has just not found any levels that got him that position, and this for the semi-finals of Jeff Smith. And what a turnaround, what a battling performance from Jeff Smith. He was in all sorts of bother when he trailed 5-3, but he rattled off 3 consecutive legs. He's into the semi-finals at the expense of his fellow countrymen. He wins by 6 legs to 5.